All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take a look at Lenny Tan's Behance portfolio. He is an industrial designer from China, but he's also a CGI artist as well, which is a very interesting thing to me. I feel like there is definitely a clear difference between the two. CGI artists are there to make things look as real as possible, as you guys can tell from these really cool car renders that he has. He also has an art station as well, so all the links will be down below. You go ahead and show him some love and let him know that we sent you. He has a lot of different things going on here, but I'm going to specifically be taking a look at this DJI FPV drone. And so it's going to be super cool project. And the difference between this one versus the other one that I showed in the last video is that this one is actually not a real drone. This is actually going to be a personal project that he has chosen to create himself just for fun, which is absolutely insane how good this portfolio is for it being just a personal project. One of the best portfolios I've seen for the product to not be real, which is crazy. He's done such a good job presenting his portfolio in a very visually impactful way. A lot of these images, they look like they come from a movie, like a Marvel movie or Star Wars or something like that. And I think, again, that goes back to his CGI type of a mentality. And the difference between a CGI artist versus a industrial designer is that a CGI artist, usually they want to make things look as cool and as real as possible, very similar to what you would see on the silver screen. Whereas an industrial designer, we usually show our work through what this product can be, how the product would work, what's the relationship between the product and its user, and how it would live on a daily basis. And so we're not trying to make our renders look as real as possible. Obviously, we want it to be very visually impactful, but we're not trying to make it look real, and you're gonna see what I mean by that as we move on to some of the studio shots. So this is going to be a very cool shot showing the user, you know, again, a very cinematic shot showing the military guys standing back to back. They look like they're 3D models. Since this is a drone, there's going to be a couple different products that live alongside it, such as single-handed controller as well as the goggles themselves. But just very, very cool. He is so good at rendering and creating visual impactful images. So I think this here is going to be him attempting to be more industrial designy, you know, if that's even a word. But he's trying to show some sort of exploration on what this product can be by showing off some sketches here on filling up a whole page of sketches on white sheets of paper, spread out with a photo being taken of it. And it looks like he uses a mechanical pencil to make his sketches. You know, I don't really see too much exploration about what the different kind of shapes this drone can possibly be. It literally just looks like one exploration kind of a shot with maybe details changed from it. But you know, again, like I said, this is a personal project, so you don't really need to have too much exploration if this is just going to be just something for fun. But it looks like he's done a really great job faking it all in, showing off some inspiration pages and some inspiration shots up at the top, aligning it up in a straight line. Everything is black and white, you know, throwing in some kangaroo, which, you know, his other ones here are very mechy, very mechanical. And so maybe he wanted to have something that was more organic and biological. And so very cool graphic, a 01, cool font, cool text, some variation between size of this font here, thinner font as well. So very nice. I think this is a technique to take away, is showing your sketches in this very impactful way by having a black background as well as some white stroke sketches. So very, very cool. I've seen other industrial designers do it this way too. I really love seeing it in this way. Personally, it's not really my style. I think showing it more this way looks more real and more raw, but this way is also very cool as well. So we went from sketch to more computer sketch to more Photoshop renders. Now, these images don't really look like they're real Photoshop renders. What I mean by that is that it looks like they were faked in. The 3D model was already created, and then there was a Photoshop process that went on after that that makes it look like it was Photoshopped when it was really just faking in the Photoshop, if that makes sense. Meaning that the final solution has already been made before these pages were made. And so the industrial designer, what they did was they knew they had to make a portfolio for this product, so they went backwards to try to create all of these development pages in order to make it look like it was developed as you go along looking through the portfolio. Nothing wrong with that. I don't mean anything negative when I say fake, but that's what I mean, is that these pages were almost kind of created to make it look like this is the process that you took in order to come up with the final solution. And the reason why I think that is literally because of this page right here. There's a major disconnect between showing a final, almost pretty much final CAD of your final solution while also showing the sketch phase, this development phase. The development phases of sketching, of research, Photoshop renderings is really trying to figure out what this thing can possibly be. It's okay to show some CAD, maybe preliminary CAD, but if we take a look at these CAD, you know, there's a ton of detail in them. It looks pretty much like the final solution, and you don't really want to show that within this section, in this phase of development, you know, because you want to make sure that you're still trying to discover what this thing could possibly be. This is a very interesting technique, how he's able to present it. It looks like sheets of paper that were pinned up to a board or taped onto a board, a couple of post-it notes with some marker-like, it looks like sketches, some arrows, you know, some call out, some numbering. So it's a very cool kind of faked in pinup board in a way. So, you know, maybe that's a technique that you would also like to use. I've only seen one other industrial designer that has done it in a similar way like this. Okay, so there's gonna be other products here, such as the goggles. Again, guys, this is a very long portfolio, so I'm not gonna like talk about too much of the details of what's going on, but it's all very consistent with the controller, with the goggles, you know, the black background with the white sketches and the inspiration pages, the taped on pinup board like thing. And so if I were him, I would probably break this presentation down into maybe 4 different presentations, because it's quite long, and if the employer would like to see everything together, then that's definitely a possibility. But I think that it almost showing off too much of each and every product takes away from the main one, which is the drone. So the drone, let's just sit back, take a couple minutes, and enjoy this render right here. I mean, guys, just look at this thing. Like, it's ridiculous. It's so good. If we just look at it from a form aspect, we can see the overall shape of it is extremely dynamic. Everything looks very fast, you know, very dynamic. We can see a lot of the internal as well as the external shells, meaning that we can see all of the black parts. They're more of the things that live on the inside, right? Like the sensors here, you know, just this black shell that lives out here, the air intake and the vents that live in here, and then the battery that lives there. That's more of the internal kind of parts. And then the external shell is all of this gray injection molded plastic parts here. So it has that inner and outer kind of an illusion, which adds a lot to the visual impactfulness of this design and of this render. We can see some of the details, such as all the different kind of finishes, the spun material on the metal kind of motors on the propellers. We can see some of the venting and some of the exposed screws, which make things look really cool. We can see the parting lines that are running through the form, you know, how this product will be put together. Even though this is not a real product, he's still putting in those parting lines. Just even though this thing is not going to be real, it's all still there. As far as rendering goes, everything is very textured. You know, we have this injection molded plastic, and we can see all the grain in it, all the noise, all the texture within this plastic part, you know, and he's added in the details such as the spun material, you know, and even when it comes to some of the scuff, like look at these propellers, you can see that that's not just a perfectly, black textured material. There's a lot of scuff to it, and that's more the CGI side of him, is he's trying to make this thing look as real as possible. And so industrial designers, we usually don't go through the effort of adding in the fake scuff. That's going to be natural as the user uses the product, but as a CGI artist, in a world where it's trying to show that it's real as possible, like if you were to watch this thing in a movie of some sort, you kind of want to see the scuff there. But as an industrial designer, our main focus is to really design this product to where the user would enjoy using it and what they expect to see when it's coming out of the box. This is a studio shot, guys, with the background being just either white or gray or black, and the whole emphasis of these studio shots is to really just show the industrial design of the product itself. And so he's done a great job with this. I can see very clearly, everything is very sharp, and all the lighting on it is casting onto the surfaces. We could see the hard lines and even the softer areas of the drone just showing through with the lighting. He's just done such a great job rendering this product, and even though it is not real, it's just so very realistic, and he's done such a great job doing so, and I wouldn't expect anything less from a CGI artist. He's done a great job also picking really good angles of this drone, because in every product, angles are extremely important. Not every product is gonna have a sweet angle. There's always gonna be angles that don't look quite as good. They're gonna look too flat or too blobby or something, but the angles that he's selected, everything looks just very strong and very dynamic. So when you're rendering your products that you've designed for your portfolio, always rotate it around, render a bunch of different angles, and see which ones are the best to really show off the idea that you're trying to get across. We can see all the different details in the battery pack that he's added with it, and there's lines in the handle strap. There's like a badging on it with the DJI logo, and then the strap being held on by these two buckles that live on the end. And this is a flat surface with some surface details of these trapezoids being cut in. We can see a battery indicator lights of the 4 dots. We can see the battery release that lives right down below it with some part lines that live around it, and then these rubber feet that live on the bottom, so that when the drone is being set down, it would be able to have something to sit on with the rubber feet. He's done such a great job fading in this sensor here. All the form looks very nice. The light bars, which shine different type of lights, and every consumer electronic parts usually have some sort of a light communicating to the user themselves maybe what status or certain kind of a mode that the consumer electronic is in. It's a communication to the user using these lights, and so I love how he's added it in, and it looks very tasteful and very good. Moving on to some more of now what I call are the close-up shots, showing off some of the features of this product. So of course he's trying to show off that these are going to be sensors that cast some kind of a beam using this teal kind of graphic that he's kind of photoshopped in. Not really quite sure what's going on with this outer red here. It's like a red stroke or something like that. I don't know if he's actually meant to do that or not. Very interesting why he threw that in there though. We can see some of the details such as the camera, the 02 graphic, FPV, couple of these little vent holes here, vent here, DJI little logo sitting up at the top. Really great job here. Showing off more of the teal sensors that live at the bottom. But this one here is a white color, and maybe so this one's indicating to me that it could be something that's different. Maybe it's not a sensor. But then here he's using the teal color again to show this battery Z icon. And so what I would have done is probably made this color a different color so that every single one of these different colors is indicating something different. Something like this here, where now he's using a little bit of orange along with this teal to show airflow. So I would have really loved to see different colors used to show some of these functions off, and using different colors to indicate that it's a different thing. And so maybe this arrow could have just been blue. This could have been red or blue, showing air going in and air going out. And then he's using the orange color to show this battery getting released out, and this green teal arrow showing the released battery pack. Probably would have used different colors to do so, but these are very minimal things, but I think that it's always my responsibility to call these out, to add in that extra 1% just to make it better. And then it looks like there's the screen that lives on top. I haven't seen a drone quite like this yet that has a big screen like that. And so very, very interesting idea. Maybe the reason why they haven't actually done it in real life is because of cost and because of weight, for the benefit that you actually get. But it's definitely a very interesting idea, showing off the propellers, and boom! Wow, I love this shot right here. It just looks so cool, so dynamic. The camera, how the camera sits in, the cover that sits around the camera, all the sensors that live in the front there, you know, the details in the texture of it all, a little arrow right there. I'm not sure what that arrow is supposed to indicate. Maybe this whole panel here comes off of some sort. But just really, really cool, extremely awesome dynamic shots. You know, he does such a great job showing off shadows. You know, this dark shadow really emphasizes moodiness, you know, where things do look bright and we can see what's going on at some points, but then certain things are just black and they just fade away into nothing, showing that depth. Even more close-up shots. He's gone through and just, you know, really added a ton of texture. A ton of, you know, the spun material on this metal aluminum motor part. You know, with the propellers, we can see the scuff on the propellers in this shot here. Everything has some depth of field to it, so things that are more further away is blurred out, showing off some of the details that he's done, you know, adding in these kind of venting lines here, maybe splitting up the air into different sections. The heat sink, he spent a lot of time just making sure that even though this product isn't real, it's just a personal product, it's still, you know, it still has all the things that it really needs to have. There's a lot of close-up shots. So like I said, guys, this portfolio is very long. So as we can see, now it's jumping through the helmet. I'm not going to go through it, but I definitely, links to all be down below if you want to take your time to really dig through, look at, see how he's doing it on your own time. Take a look at his art station. You know, the links should be all down below. Definitely follow him and let him know that we sent you. But alright guys, that is pretty much about it for this one. My name is Jimmy Design. If you guys like the content, definitely subscribe to the channel. Leave a thumbs up for the video and let me know down in the comments if there's anything else you guys would like me to cover for the next video. Alright guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.